Everything is new again, walking with a permagrin, head so high. I'm back with you and all is right. Shaking on the apple tree, ticking off the honeybees, watch them fly. It's just like we never said goodbye.
Hey guys, what's up? It's NihonTiger and it's stopped raining out. Yay! It stopped raining out and I need to fix that up at some point. But we'll do that later. So today we are back here at my farm on my fortress. Looking so pretty. And gonna be heading down a little bit here to take care of the little bit of stuff we have left to do. So mostly we're going to be working on the detailing for our little terraces over there for our crops. So that's really what I've got going on today as far as as far as content-wise for the video. So it won't be too exciting. And I thought I would talk about stuff instead. And you can see, oh, there we go. So I'm going to go down to the bottom, get an idea of how this is going to work. So I thought maybe I would try and find a topic of discussion for the video. You know, something interesting, something people would have, you know, a real interest in me talking about, and I wasn't too sure what to do. And then I remembered there's a topic that I haven't talked about, and I wanted to talk about, but I haven't talked about it because I haven't had the idea of how I want to go about talking about it for some time. And that's been a problem. It's been why, you know, I haven't done this. When I originally wanted to, you know, talk about this subject was back in episode 42, which was sometime, I think, almost last year at this point. It was way back when. It was, you know, last season. I wanted to kind of hit on this subject, and I was trying to figure out a way to do it. It didn't make me sound like I was going to be really, you know, really complaining or whining about things, because this is something that, you know, obviously, if I wanted to take care and make sure that it was, you know, something that would make sense and that wouldn't sound like I was whining, it's got to be a very serious topic. And it kind of is. It kind of is a little bit. It looks alright. Do I want to put some... Yeah, you know what? I want to put the smooth stone in there as well. It kind of breaks it up a little bit. So, in particular, I wanted to spend a little bit of time. I know some of you guys are a little bit older and some of you are younger, so I had to find a topic as well that would kind of get to my entire audience. Maybe I should get some cobble in here too. I was going to use some gravel, but gravel is easily pull-outable by pull-outable. I made up a word, but it's easily removable by the Enderman, and I don't want them stealing the gravel from my walls here and then leaving me with like a pock marks all over the place. Because they like to do that. They like to do that a lot. They already do that in my mountain like crazy. So the topic in question is actually about relationships and things of that nature. So that's why I wanted to avoid coming off, you know, really whiny, because I don't want people to think I'm being like, oh, well, I'm whining because blah 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 blah, you know, things aren't going my way, or, you know, I'm upset, you know, why don't I have a beautiful girlfriend? So, you know, that's the main reason that I was so hesitant to talk about it, because I don't want to have to, you know, sit there and be sounding like I'm whining all day about situations that are not really, you know, in my control. But, yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that. A little bit of real talk while I'm working on this. So, about me, for those of you who don't know, I am still single. At this time of this recording, this may change in the future. If you're watching this 2 or 3 years from now, it might be a little bit different. But at least at the time I'm recording this, I don't have a significant other. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but it's just the way the situation is right now. So I'm not too torn up about it. I'm not like sitting here being like, oh, I'm alone forever alone. It's just that's just the way it is, and you deal with it and whatnot. But we'll also talk about that a little bit, dealing with stuff like that. So I'm not too worried about it. I am a bit older. I know a lot of my kids. A lot of my kids. No. A lot of my viewers might be kids, and they might be. You might be in high school or something, and your friends have girlfriends or boyfriends or whatnot. You feel alone, and you feel kind of crappy about it. Don't feel bad that your situation is different than other people's. And trust me on that, I know that from experience. But yeah, my parents actually, they didn't meet. Even though I'm 27 going on 28, my parents didn't meet until they were quite a bit older, in their 30s, and they only got married in their mid 30s, and then that's when they had me. After they got married, it wasn't like they got married because, oh, you're pregnant with Nihon, so here, you should probably get hitched. No, that was like that at all. So that was their situation, and that is just just the way things are sometimes. You just have to wait sometimes, and good things will happen. But I'm gonna say, I don't have to worry about that. If even if that worst case scenario, I do what I never wanted to do and have to wait until I'm their age for something like that to happen for me. That means I have to wait another 6 or 7 years. It's not like it's 20 years and I'm gonna be alone and miserable and sad the whole time. Because you don't have to be sad and be alone, be miserable just because you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It's not necessarily the end of the world, like a lot of people might think it is, especially if you're a younger type. I know I've been there before. I've been in those shoes in that situation, and I know those feels, bro. But in all seriousness, there are some social pressures, I guess, that kids feel, and that I feel sometimes as well. You feel the social pressure. You see, your friends. They have families and they're having babies and all kinds of crazy stuff. BWO's having a baby now, so congrats to him and his lovely wife, who I've both met. They're both awesome people, and they're having a little baby. I know he's been trying. He mentioned it. I think he's mentioned it before that he's been trying to have a kid, and now he is. So that's great for him. Glad to hear the news. But it's different. I mean, Meetups, he's in his 30s as well. That's another good case of people. Maybe sometimes you have to wait a little bit to get what you want, but sometimes it's worth it. So let me see. I want to see how this looks from up there, because that's going to be a real eye test. Yeah, some of my friends, around my age, people. I'll give an example. Tib is only a couple months older than I am, and he's got a daughter. He's got a very nice daughter. And Ray is just about a year and a half, maybe 2 years older than I am, and he's got himself a couple kids. So those are some examples of people. I know other people too from Minecore. Burgasms. He just had a daughter, and Kevin, no one at all, had also recently, in the past couple months, has a son now. So once you get older, when you're older like me, you begin to, you begin to see, you know, your friends start to have kids and they start to have families of their own, and sometimes maybe when you're, you know, when you're single and you think maybe one day you'd want to have a family, but you're not too sure. You know, you kind of feel, I guess, a little. You feel happy for them, but you also kind of wonder, okay, you know, is this ever, you know, is this something that maybe I should just not worry about or whatnot? And the answer really is, yeah, just don't worry about it. You know, but I'm not too worried about that kind of stuff yet. I'm only 28. I'm not in my sense of the word, not ready for a family. I guess, you know, as most people would probably say that I am based on a number of factors, but kind of mentally I'm not kind of at that point yet where I'm in, like, you know, I want to have kids. I want to have kids right now, but it looks a lot better. Maybe want to patch a little something up there. I noticed that some of the ones up there on top are not quite as well done as I would like. So let me see. Let me go here. I'll just punch these three out. I'll put some cobblestone here. I have a lot of cobblestone. I was going to mostly use cobblestone on this. So, yeah, there are some social pressures that you have to deal with, and, you know, society does kind of expect things. There's some really weird poll that I read that apparently most people, and I don't know, I guess this is, you know, including older adults as well, but like the age that people thought that they should start having kids was 25. Or, like, you know, 25 to 30, somewhere in there, which is what age I'm at right now. So there's, you know, if that's the case, then that's a little odd. You know, I think the poll showed that most of the people who actually are that age are like, no, I don't want to have kids yet, and I'm kind of in that boat, I guess you could say. Put those there. But, you know, there are pressures from society from time to time. You have to deal with the fact that, you know, society might say, well, you're old enough to have kids. Start having kids now. Have lots of babies right now. All the babies. Have all the babies in the world. But you just kind of have to go at your own pace and really figure out a time that's good for you to do those kind of things. Because babies are not Nintendo 64s. You know, they're not toys. You don't get to, you know, you'll just turn it on in the morning and play it for a little bit and turn it off at night and not have to worry about it anymore. Babies require your attention all the time, and that usually means you don't get to play as much Minecraft anymore. But, or other games really for that matter. But, you know, that's something that, you know, as a society, it's probably changing, but it's changing pretty slowly. It's not changing as fast as, you know, other parts of society are changing. So there's still kind of an idea that, you know, around my age, you're supposed to, you know, this is the old American dream. You know, you have a wife and 2 kids and a dog and a nice house, and you know everyone's supposed to be living the American dream, like right now, because that's what makes it so American. But in reality, everyone's situation is different, and, you know, once a situation that works for one person doesn't necessarily work for everybody, because there's various reasons why you might not want to have, you know, you might want to not want to have to deal about that stuff. And even to a lesser extent, or maybe actually to more of an extent than having kids, is the pressure to find somebody. You know, the pressure to have a girlfriend, have a boyfriend. You know, at a certain age, you're expected to, you know, date. You're expected to go out and go to clubs and pick up chicks and do stuff like that. But that's something that I've always had to deal with, especially going through even high school. You know, there's a lot of pressure in high school for kids to, you know, to date from their peers. That's always something that I ran into. But I didn't quite, at least in my past, I didn't quite have as much success. Most people didn't really look at me as boyfriend material, at least girls. didn't really look at my boyfriend material that I went to high school with. So, you know, I kind of thought for a while that maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe, you know, maybe it's my personality. It's not my face. I can't really change my face. And I thought, okay, you know, maybe I just look ugly. And no, it's not that. Definitely not that. But, you know, I kind of thought, okay, maybe more importantly, it's, you know, it's my my personality, because it can't just be my huge gigantic nose that's driving girls away, because there's plenty of guys who have huge foreheads and stuff and they get all the ladies. So I kind of sat there and I kind of thought, okay, it's got to be my personality. It's got to be it's got to be my personality. It's got to be the fact that I enjoy, you know, all these nerdy things, and if I just get rid of them, you know, I just change and I become like everybody else, then it'd be like magic. It'd be like, you know, the women would just flock to me. No, that's not how it works either. I kind of tried to change myself when I was younger a little bit. And by change myself, I mean, I said, okay, I'm not gonna play. You know, I'm gonna peel back on video games a little bit. I'm gonna be a strong, independent man. You don't need no video games. And unfortunately, all that managed to do was kind of screw myself up as far as, you know, being okay with who I was. I wasn't quite. I was kind of like, I can't be this person, because if I'm this person, then nobody will love me. And that's a very, as I realized when I got older, it's a very bad way to think about things. Because people should really love you for who you are. You shouldn't have to change unless you're Hitler, and if you are Hitler, you should probably not be Hitler. That's bad. But yeah, if you're a nerdy type person who is trying to, you know, change yourself so that people will like you, don't worry about it. Don't worry about doing that. You know, just kind of be yourself. You know, that's one of the things that I always tell people, and it's one of the things I'm sure I'll mention a couple times during this video, is that being yourself is very important, and it's very vital to actually. Oh, it's actually very vital to understanding yourself and being able to do things like have a relationship and not have it blow up in your face or something like that. So I think that's looking better. Let me come over here. It is nighttime out, so it does make it a little bit harder to take a look. Yeah, it's looking a little better. I do want to maybe put in some mossy cobble here and there, just little bits here and there, just to kind of even break it up a little bit more. I think that would make it look a lot nicer. But I'd have to get mossy cobble to do that first. So let's see. I'm just thinking here. I want to go up here, kind of thinking and figuring out how I want to attack this, make this look a little bit better. So, you know, I did try to disavow my nerdiness, try to change who I was, just so I could, you know, find somebody. And I'll tell you this much: it doesn't do anything. It doesn't really do much. It doesn't make you instantly turn into George Clooney. It doesn't make you instantly become, you know, the most awesome man in the world. In fact, if anything, it made me kind of hate myself a lot more than I should have. And I think it was a mistake on my part to try and fight, you know, trying to fight myself and be like, I'm not gonna be this person who likes all these things. And, you know, a couple of years later, when I'd given up on it, I found out I was much happier, even though I was not in a relationship. I found out I was much happier, you know, being myself and being comfortable with myself and not worrying about what other people thought, what other people were going to be like, oh, well, he's such a nerdy person. And it's like, so what? So what? I like video games. I don't play them, you know, I don't play them religiously like the stereotype says I would, but I like them. I enjoy them. You got a problem with that? If you do, then you know what? Those are the people that you even want to hang around with anyways. Those aren't the people that you want to date and marry or, you know, whatever. They're not the people that you want to have a family with. if they're not going to accept you for who you are. You want people around you that are going to make you feel comfortable, make you feel happy with who you are, and what you like to do. That's really it's really the most important thing. Is that if you do try and find somebody, is to find somebody who doesn't necessarily complete you, I guess you could say, but who complements you, who makes your weaknesses not so weak, and who makes your strengths that much stronger. I think that's a good way to go about doing those kind of things. I think it's perfect way to describe it. So let me put that back up there. But yeah, apparently, some people will see my hobbies, they'll see my gaming hobby in particular, and they'll say, "Oh my god, I don't want to be with that person who just plays WoW all day," which is a lie. I've never played WoW before. I don't necessarily like WoW. I'm not a huge MMO kind of person in general. It doesn't mean there's necessarily I haven't played MMOs in the past, but I'm kind of not the person who likes to spend countless hours grinding things out anymore. It's just not my style. But says the guy who plays Minecraft all the time and has to grind for stuff. Pro tip: I actually grind a lot off screen. So let me see here. I want to break this up a little bit. Put one there. So it's coming along nicely. This is coming along pretty nice. I'm out of ender pearls, so that's a problem. I'll have to use dirt to pillar up in the meantime. But it is kind of a weird thing that sometimes people will just pick one thing, like the video games thing, or he likes anime, that's bad. I shouldn't have anything to do with him because he likes anime, and oh my goodness, that just ruins the whole pot. I've always thought it's a weird way to go about it. Trying to find somebody, if you happen to just pick one thing in particular that you don't like, and you're like, oh my god, it's such a deal breaker, I can't possibly ever like this guy because he likes Dragon Ball Z. But it's kind of like saying that you think a certain car is absolute shit because the speedometer looks weird. It's the best car in the world. It's the perfect car for you, but you don't like the speedometer, so the whole thing is so bad that no one should ever drive this car because the speedometer looks like a butt or something. I don't know. That's it's just a bad example. Any rational person would say, okay, well, can I live with the speedometer looking like a butt? And if I can, then yes, it's a value worth getting. If I can't, then no. If it's such a deal breaker for me, then no, maybe it's not the car for me that I'm looking for. But I think most people would live with something so small, like that, and just deal with it. But I could see some people saying, if it's a really big obsession, it can be a deal breaker. But it'd be a weird thing to be obsessed about speedometers on cars, wouldn't it? So, really, it's one of those things where, compromise, not necessarily like total compromise, but just compromising on small things. If somebody says, oh, well, I like you, but I don't like the fact that, you play video games, you play video games for 8 hours a day. Well, what you can compromise on is maybe, if you want to really like this person, maybe ask them if they will only play for like 4 hours a day and then spend the other 4 with you. Or, you don't have to turn trying to find somebody into going to the grocery store or going to the store and looking for one thing that fits all of your needs all at once. Because you're probably not going to find that person because they probably don't exist. The guy who looks like Brad Pitt and cooks, cooks and cleans and does everything for you, probably doesn't exist. He probably looks more like me, and he probably does have some interesting hobbies. But if you're willing to say, okay, well, maybe so and so is not super perfect, but he's pretty damn close to it. I can live with that. If you're willing to do that, then I think you'll be, and you're looking for somebody, I think you'll be much better off in your search. Because anyone who's looking for perfection will only be disappointed in the end, because that doesn't really exist in the world. At least not the type of perfection that person might be looking for. But it's their loss. If people, this is another thing. I know a lot of people a lot of kids especially will get hung up that maybe they get dumped or someone else doesn't want to date them or things like that. And sometimes, yeah, it is. There is a little bit of blame to go around. That might be your fault if you did something really stupid. But sometimes it just happens. It just happens. Not all relationships are going to last forever, and some will only last for a little bit. Some will last for a long time and then they'll go away. But the one thing you really can't do as a person who is dating is you can't let it kill you. You can't let it destroy you. And by that, what I mean is you can't let it kind of get to you and make you think that everything is now useless. And I know when it happens, you do want to kind of, I guess you could say, crawl into a shell and just crawl, metaphorically speaking, crawl into a shell, unless you're actually a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, in which case, hello, you're awesome. I enjoyed your TV shows and your comic books back in the early 90s when I was a youngster. But it's really one of those things where even if it hurts for a while, it will stop hurting at some point and things will get better, because they always do, and you'll be able to love again. There are probably some situations where it's going to be more hurtful than others, but those are very few and far between. I wouldn't worry too much about running into a situation like that. But yeah, even with failure, and just in all aspects of life, this is a good thing to remember. Even with failure, you learn how to make yourself better, and you learn how to grow, and you learn, okay, maybe I can't fart on her cat. She doesn't like that too much, and she just broke up with me because I farted on her cat. So next time I date somebody, I don't want to fart on their cat unless they explicitly say ahead of time that they like that kind of stuff. And I'm just picking a really weird example here because I like that kind of silly humor. But yeah, we as humans, we all kind of have to learn and have to grow and have to change. We can't stay the same way forever. And anyone who does is probably a pretty dull person. So let me down here. Cool. Oh. I'll pick up this dirt pillar now too. A dirt pillar. How about that? So yeah, I would say that if I could give advice to young people and give advice to anyone really who might be going through like a tough time or who might be frustrated about the fact that they don't have someone in their life, that they're feeling kind of lonely and feeling kind of down and feeling kind of bad about themselves. My first advice is don't feel bad about yourself. Don't feel bad about yourself if you don't have a significant other. It's not going to help you, and it's not going to help your situation if you're sitting there pouting all the time and being like, I am so alone and I am sad, I'm gonna sigh. That's probably like the worst thing that you can do, because it makes you not want to do anything. It makes you feel like nothing you could do is good enough, and nothing you can do is right, and therefore you shouldn't do it at all. And I think it's a kind of a defeatist attitude. And if you have that kind of defeatist attitude in life, not just with your searching for relationships, a lot of things will go badly for you. You'll have to deal with a lot of things that maybe they don't go right. And if you sit around all day moping and saying, "Oh, woe is me," then you miss the opportunity to possibly do something that will change that. And you don't miss those opportunities because they don't always come along frequently. I want to change that, so I gotta build that out a little bit further. It's such a pain, but I really should get more ender pearls and try to complete this. I might finish it off camera because I have a lot more to do, but it's getting pretty close to being done. And oh, I have some potatoes. Good. I knew I had another food source. Good. Okay, cool. So yeah, so basically the way I wanted to do it was kind of as I'm doing right now, and alternate all these blocks a little bit and make them look all fancy. So I have to do down here still, and set a it's down there, and then I have to go ahead and do, put in all the wheat and whatnot I'm going to put up there. But yeah, really my advice would be, first and foremost, just to be who you are. Don't try to reinvent yourself for everybody. I had a problem where I would try to do that a lot, and it led to a lot of situations where it was just not good for me, and I was just stressing myself out, and people were not necessarily picking up on wanting to be around me. So just because, oh, I happen to like, this thing too, so let's be friends. That's not how it works. That's not how relationships work either. You can't really woo somebody just because you happen to like Game of Thrones. It has to be a little more than that. But understand oftentimes people who don't accept you for who you are not the people you really want to have around in the first place. If someone's gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, I hate you because you like video games," then that person's not really gonna change too much, and you're not gonna have to. What the heck? Why is my portcullis open? There's probably mobs in there. I should probably close that. Looking all right. It's here. Looking all right. But you can always try and get rid of your bad habits. So that's something to think about too. When you have these things, and sometimes you have things that go badly. Sometimes you do have to go ahead and reinvent, not necessarily reinvent yourself, but you may have a bad habit that's causing that problem, and you kind of have to get over that habit and find a way to get around that, even if it's just even if it's just that you're thinking bad about yourself. You're thinking that, oh, I'm an idiot and I don't deserve something like this because I'm stupid and whatnot. That's something that is a bad habit, and it's something that you do kind of have to work at and get better at on a daily basis. And it's not even necessarily a thing that you can fix like overnight. A lot of times, some of your things are just like bad habits. Like maybe you're picking your nose. That's it's a habit that you can fix pretty quickly. But if you have other habits, you do have to spend a little bit more time and effort on fixing those kind of things up. So that's another important thing I think to discuss. And I also think that there's something I haven't really touched on yet, but a lot of people will sometimes say, oh, I feel bad about myself, but if I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, I'll feel so much better. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not good. The worst thing you can do really is it's still there. But the worst thing you can do is to go ahead and say that, if I have a girlfriend, or for my case, for example, if I have a girlfriend and I feel bad about myself, the girlfriend will make all the bad things go away and I'll feel so much better. That's not not the way it works. That is not the way it works at all. You know, you have to make sure that you're okay with yourself first. You have to be okay with the way that you are, the way that your life is, before you can make somebody else happier. And that's something that I would advise too. Make sure that if you're gonna date somebody, or something like that, make sure that your head's kind of in the right place to do that. Make sure that you're not. I know sometimes people are going through bad trouble, and having that someone there can help out. But there's also the problem that sometimes if you do it like that, you end up with. I want to get this kind of squared away and make this so you can't get up here. How do I do that? So we do something like that. Make this a too high wall instead. Oh, you can jump up here. Okay. So now we can't jump up there. And kind of, yeah, it'll work. Okay, so if I just kind of extend this out here, up a little bit, make it like that. But yeah, you know, relationships do not fix other problems you might have. Relationships are not the cure-all for if you feel, you know, depressed about something. If you feel depressed about something, you should probably, my advice would be to talk to somebody about it. Even though some people will say, you know, well, it's stupid. I don't want to talk to somebody. Just from my own personal experience, talking to somebody about those kind of things really does help. So, you know, if you're feeling bad, don't rely on a relationship to fix your ills. You know, rely on other people to help fix them. So, can't go this way. And I wanna change this a little bit. Upstairs, I do have a crafting bench. Some stairs. And I know this wall's kind of ugly, so if I can do that, and that. Okay, that worked. Cool. But yeah, you've got to be, before you can make somebody else happy, you've got to be happy with yourself. I think that's a big thing to remember and to keep in mind when it comes to the relationship game. So, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, when it comes to actually dating, make sure you keep your head on straight. Nothing will screw you up more than if you you know, if you jump the gun on something. So keep your head on straight. Just remember that a date's a date. It's not, you're not marrying this person. You're not spending forever with them. You know, you're just meeting them and you're learning about them and they're learning about you and all that good stuff. So keep, so keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. What else can I suggest to you guys who might be feeling down about yourself? Let me think. Oh, yeah. Never ever say or do anything on a date that would get you in trouble if your mom was there. Oh! I fell. And the reason for that is, you know, a lot of people, you know, especially with the online dating stuff, they'll be like, "Hey, baby, want to meet up so we can do all these things together. We can blankety blank and more blankety blank stuff." And it's usually pretty bad stuff that they're talking about. Like very, not necessarily like intimate stuff, but like, you want to do, you know, you want to hook up like right now, huh, baby? But you know, that kind of weird stuff that sometimes people will say that gets them put on some blog about creepy dating messages that people get from the internet. It's kind of weird, but on the other hand, I kind of like it because it curves back a little bit. Maybe I want to make this like straight across. I'll try that. Instead of having it curve, have it come straight across here. And kind of cut down here. Maybe I make it look a little better. Oh. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, so yeah, that might be better. That might fit better with the style I'm going for. But yeah, when you're dating, don't do anything that you know your mom would be upset with. So keep that in mind. That's good advice that I can give to you, the young crowd out there who might be doing dating stuff. So let's see. Can I do that? So let me tear this down, because this was connected to my farm, and my farm is obviously no longer there. So I can kind of remove this wall a little bit. I kind of want to keep this little part over here where it does this thing. I think it looks really cool, so I want to keep that as best I can. And I mean, I have to do that and that. So how's that look? Does it look alright? Yeah, it looks fine. It looks fine. I'll just have to patch some things up here and there. So maybe do another stair. I can kind of do something like this, maybe. Put a bunch of cobble in here. Oh, 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 oh. Ow, I fell. Oh, great. Now how am I going to get back up there? How am I going to get back up there, without... Oh, okay, I do have a path back up. That's cool. That's good. I must have done this before. Breakthrough. Yeah, it's not the best wall. It's just for style. I know people can break. I know it's not impenetrable. I know people can break through. I've had people probably do that before to get into my fortress, because it's Minecraft and you can break blocks. But let's see, do that. But yeah, like I said before, the best relationships are not necessarily the ones where everyone's perfect for each other. The ones that are the best are the ones where people complement each other. So if you can find somebody who you like being around and who makes your strengths stronger and your weaknesses not so weak, then that's probably a good person to be around. You know what? I got an idea. Let me do this. Instead of doing it like this. Pick that one. I use the stairs here instead to kind of give it a more of a slope, more of an angle. Yeah, it looks a lot better. I like that. Instead of just having it. Oh yeah, that looks alright. That looks cool. The only thing that looks weird is that at that end there. I kind of want to put something on that end now, like right here, just to give it a reason for existing, because it doesn't have much of a reason right now. So I feel like I should put like some little light kind of hanging out over the edge here, or some small tower or something. I don't know. But we'll work on that. We'll work on it next time. So yeah, really, that's really all I've got to say about things, and I'm not too worried myself. I know things will work out for me. So those of you who might be commenting, "Oh, Nihon, I'm so sorry," it's like, don't feel sorry for me. I'm happy the way things are with my life right now. I things could always be worse, so I'm happy to have what I have, and I know other things will come and present themselves in the future, so I'm not too worried about that. But anyways, that's all for today. I've rambled on long enough. I think it's been 45 minutes. That's more than enough of your time. I got a little bit of work done on the terraces today. We worked on the wall a little bit as well, made it look a little prettier. So yeah, I think next time when we come back here, we will have all these completed, and we'll be working on actually finishing this project up. We're pretty much done with it. We just need to finish up with the walls, and then we'll put in our railings. And then when we put in our railings, we'll put in all our crops as well. So it's looking pretty good. Anyways, that's all I've got. So as always, thanks for watching, and good luck, good mining, have fun, and I'll see you guys next time.